I saw a ghost the other day. I was in the attic working on my AC unit, doing some light repairs. I like to get up there every 3 months, replace the AC filter, put some white vinegar through the drain line, just to keep it up. You don't want your AC messing up, especially if it's in the attic. The lighting in the attic is pretty dim. It's not the brightest in there. There's a light bulb dangling from the top of the attic. And there's always a slight breeze, which causes the light bulb to swing back and forth, causing the shadows to crouch low and stretch tall. And that's when I saw the ghost. In the far left corner of the attic, I saw it, peeking behind a box. To be honest, I was confused and shocked more than anything. When our eyes met, I was covered in shame. And at that very moment, its shadow stretched far larger than it did before, and I crouched and I reached to grab it. And then it fell into my arms, and I walked it down the ladder. I tucked it against my chest, fully embraced, and I walked it into my office, and I placed it on my workbench just so I could get a better look at it. I turned on all of my studio lights, and there it was. Art from me, from another life, long gone, covered in dust and years of neglect. And I kind of was puzzled. I found some moisture on the edges of the paper, and I noticed that it was just my tears running down. Was I sad? Was I happy? I don't know. It was weird because I looked at it and I was like, God damn, I was a good artist. How's it going, y'all? Welcome to the Gil Podcast. This podcast is about me, Gil, and the things that I'm currently obsessed with. On today's podcast, I want to talk about ghosts, the past, your old self, your new self. And I wanted to try something new, so I opened up with a monologue, a poem, something that I just whipped up. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope it didn't turn anybody off. I was thinking about adding like some eerie, creepy music, but I know horror is not everybody's cup of tea or matcha. So I said, you know what? Let me just read this thing that I just wrote. Not ChatGPT. I wrote it. I know it's kind of hard to believe that people actually create their own art nowadays. But this actually happened. This word for word, bar for bar, this happened. And I didn't actually cry. I was just, tears of joy, almost like, or just sadness too, in a way. Like, this is something that I really wanted to do when I was a kid. I really wanted to become a comic book artist, a fine art artist. I wanted to paint. I wanted to do sculpting. I wanted to do interior designing. I wanted to build websites. I wanted to do a lot, anything that would send my creativity to the world so people could know of me, my message, and what I stand for. That was my goal as a kid. I remember in the 7th grade, I vowed to draw and become an artist. And I drew every single day in the 7th grade to the point where I didn't do any schoolwork. I think I said this before on this podcast. So I stayed back or was retained or just redid the grade simply because I didn't do any work. Was I proud of it? No, because my friends progressed and moved on to the 8th grade, and I had to repeat the class, had to repeat the whole grade, a whole school year, had to do it over again. I did it right the second time, but that thing stuck with me. Like, I really loved art to the point where I didn't care where or what I was doing. I would be drawing. Everywhere I went, I had a composition notebook, a drawing pad. I really loved drawing. From the 2nd grade, I was infatuated with it. I just knew I could draw. And the reason why I knew that I could draw and I had this tenacity or just tendency for art, or however you want to word it, was when we were doing any projects in class or when my teacher was talking, I would illustrate what she was saying. I'll take notes and I would just draw. I'll draw the notes and it'll be like its own cryptic, informational, hieroglyphic, however you pronounce the Egyptian graffiti art. Egyptian graffiti art. I literally insulted an entire culture. That's hilarious. But I would draw, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get better. I wasn't happy with the level of drawing that I was doing in the second grade in Miss Isdale's class, but I said, I'm Gil, you're going to get better. So I saved my drawings. I would draw every single day. Well, not every single day. Like I had real, like different stuff to do, like collect pogs. I don't know if you did this growing up. I was born in 1989, and there was this obsession with printing out anime pictures, more specifically, Dragon Ball Z pictures of like, Goku, Brawly, Gohan, and you would print them out and then just share them with people in school so you can draw and stuff. It was weird. That's what I was doing with my time. And I'll draw. So I basically was drawing every single day and saving my drawings. When I got to the third grade, I then started to categorize and said, okay, well, this school year, I wasn't really able to draw hands. I wasn't able to draw ears. This is what I learned. And I would do the third grade, then move on to the fourth grade. And from the fourth grade, I would pretty much try to force myself to learn a new skill. Or I'll tell myself, okay, well, Gil, in third grade, you learn how to do hands and stuff. Let's try to do, postures or whatever the case was. And I'd watch, what's his name? Bob Ross. He helped me out a lot, even though he was painting, but his technique and a lot of other stuff. There was a bunch of shows on Nova. I would watch not reality TV, but like documentaries, because you get a lot of still life. You get a lot of like stillness, and you're able to like, mirror image what you're seeing on the screen. Like everyday TV, especially for kids, everything was like really, really fast paced. You didn't even get a chance to like capture the things in your mind. It was more so just an idea, a vague idea. So I'd watch like WLRN, PBS. You had like Nova programs. So they'll be doing like wilderness stuff and showing you a forest. And it'll be like a 120 frame shot or a 60 frame shot of a bird. And it'll just be, you get a chance to like stay and etch it not only on paper, but in your mind, like, okay, this is how that bird is shaped. Oh, this is how the talons are shaped. It just was a lot slower. And I started to draw animals. And then I said, okay, I'm going to learn how to draw birds. And I don't know. I got to see how well I am with birds, but there were so much birds in South Florida. There were blue jays everywhere. Like blue jays were everywhere. You had woodpeckers. Then you learn the difference between the woodpeckers, the bluebirds, the kingfisher, a pigeon, a sparrow, a crow, a raven. And this is me like in the fifth, sixth grade, learning the difference in animals. Luckily, where we lived growing up, there was an abundance of like wildlife. Like even though I lived in South Florida, we had lynx, we had Florida panthers, we had, what do you call that? Aardvarks. We had like a lot of animals that you don't see now. Like for some reason, the 5G has kicked those animals away. I don't know. Like we had to like get them like a townhouse or a condo or something. Like we had peacocks everywhere growing up. We still do, but there's an abundance of actual wildlife. And this was the thing that I could try to teach myself to draw. And it wasn't great, but learning the anatomies of animals and people, it was a blessing. Then fast forward to sixth and seventh grade, of course I'm drawing. Then I fall into, anime. Like in middle school and high school, I just said, bump realism. I'm going to do anime. I'm going to create my own manga. And that's exactly what I did. I think my first comic book that I started was in the seventh grade. A character named Z-Man. And Z-Man was pretty much an amalgamation of Superman, Batman's brains. I'm a Batman fan. And he was an alien, he came from outer space. And he was pretty much Goku and Sonic to get it. It was a lot. And I would draw Z-Man comics every day in the seventh grade. He's one of the reasons why I stayed back. And then in high school, I created a comic book, which was a caricature of a lot of my friends. This comic was very inappropriate, but so was the times that I was in. I was very inappropriate in high school. I wouldn't say that I was the coolest kid, but I was the freaking coolest kid. Knew everybody. People knew me. People knew me as Gil, the the guy that draws, the smart kid, the one who's really cool, funny. And I'll just be there, like I'll have an idea, or something will happen in the classroom. A new foreign exchange student will come in, and then that will like kickstart an idea. And you got to realize, I am somebody who was always thinking, and for I think the whole 4 years of my high school, even parts of my middle school, a situation will happen, and I will immediately try to find the funny in it. I would force myself to find the funny in it, to find because my comments were jokes. They were literally a joke. They were like it was a long punchline, and I would stretch it out for like 5, 6, 8 panels, and it'll be like finding a flaw, a caricature trait of a specific friend, a teacher, a colleague. We had a person that was in our friend group that had a massive nose. This person's nose was extra astronomically like long. So whenever this person would make an appearance, their nose will like take up the entire panel, and it was funny. It was just it was super funny. We had a lot of I had a lot of my friends who had weird quirks about them. Like we had guys who would stutter. They weren't able to fully finish a sentence without stuttering, and that was their superpower. You had this guy who was just overly aggressive and just angry all the time. Like I don't know what was his deal. He was a great dude, and I just made him the devil. Like it was there were so many more inappropriate jokes, but I'm not going to like put that on the internet to have somebody, come out and use this against me because boy, oh boy, let's just say, it was a different time, back then. And I loved it. It was great. Obviously, I'm a high school kid, super inappropriate time, super inappropriate topics, but all in all, it was a blast. And I think about, my past self, how I don't know if high school Gil were to see me right now in my office space, he'd probably like, yo, what the heck? He's so this dude. Oh my God, dude. Like, this is awesome. Do we still like anime? Yeah, we still like anime. But we no longer use your Yahoo anime email, Hyrule Anime Dark Demon Sasuke 23 at yahoo.com. We don't use that email anymore. We actually have a professional email now. Password is still the same. you know, it's hilarious. And I drew every single day. But there is like a sad part to this part of the story. My 11th grade year, my parents, they weren't too fond of art. They weren't too fond of drawing. I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, super strict religious organization. And it's not that it's strict, it's just that my parents were strict. I want to clarify that. A lot of people, I don't want people to think, oh man, that's so stupid. When I hear that name, I don't want you to associate it with that one killed Gil, Art Gil. But anyways, my parents found my art collection. And just to be honest with you, I've had my art collection, like I said, since the fourth grade. I've been, not the fourth grade, second grade. I've been collecting since the second grade pieces of art, drawings, paintings from the second to the 11th grade. That's a lot of paper. That's a lot of binders. That's a lot of like composition notebooks. My parents burned and destroyed those works of art because they, claimed that this was blasphemous. I'm not allowed to create because there's only one creator. What I'm doing is going against God, in a way. And I was angry. I was really angry. I still am angry about it, to be honest with you. There has been, there is literally, after that incident, I have never completed a work of art since then. As far as like drawing or painting, I haven't been able to physically complete a work of art. And I didn't notice it until a friend of mine, Luke Emmanuel, shout out to Luke. This was my 12th grade year. And it wasn't that I had a disdain for drawing. It's just, as an adult, I thought about it. It was like, what's the point? It's just going to get destroyed anyway. Or maybe the situation that happened with my parents kind of like traumatized me and just put like sometimes you like to say that, oh, I'm not affected by childhood trauma. I'm good. Like, I pay my bills. I'm an adult. I don't care. But this is not like a crybaby or woe is me thing here for Gil. This is the Gil podcast. I guess it can be. Welcome to my therapy session. But to be honest, it was like, and it still is to this day, I have yet to like start a drawing and finish it. So I restarted drawing maybe in 2014, 2015. Like, my friend Jake really inspired me to start drawing again. And he's a great artist. Like, he's freaking awesome. I could just never get past this gnawing feel like it's pointless. It's like, what's the point of this? It's always there. As soon as I acknowledged it when I was like older, I was like, oh, that's what that is. I feel like this is pointless. Like, what's the point here? Not that I don't know. But more recently, I've kind of like, I've been wanting to try to get back to getting back into it. And I started drawing again. I started to complete drawings, on paper. So I invested in a drawing tablet recently. I just got a Wacom tablet, however you want to pronounce it. The kid at Best Buy had no idea what I was talking about. I literally felt like one of those angry old people. I was like, hey, how's it going? Do you guys have a Wacom tablet? A what? Do you have like a Wacom tablet? I don't know what that is. The drawing tablet? Oh, yeah. I think so. I'm like, with a stylus? I'm like, yeah. This brand. Like this, it's the brand. Like it's literally the only thing that's there. That's the only brand that most retailers sell. And it's like, why don't you know that? I don't know. Maybe the world is different now. I was 16, 15 years old, and I was the electronic lead at my Kmart back in the day, which was a Wednesday. If you get the joke, you get the joke. If you don't, you don't. But yeah, it was like back in the day, and I knew everything, at my store. And I don't want to derail here. We're going to get back into the art, but this is the Gil podcast. I do this. My brain goes everywhere. I used to work at a Kmart. If you're old enough, but we used to do everything in there. This was a department store that sold firearm. They sold like BB guns. They sold bullets. They sold, crossbows, arrows, boating supplies. They sold cameras, video game consoles, a bunch of stuff. Bait and tackle. We sold everything. And me, as a Haitian American, I didn't grow up hunting. So when I got this job at Kmart while I was in high school, I was like, man, I got to learn a lot. I got to learn how to use a ratchet. I got to learn how to use a pallet jack, how to drive a forklift. I got to learn how to stack pallets. I got to learn how to do all this stuff. I like computers. I built computers at the time. I was going to a vocational school. So I was a young kid, and I pretty much shadowed everybody at the store when I worked with them, asked them, nice ways that they get their job done. And I would learn what I need to learn, build that knowledge base, apply my new information. Like, oh, they're using a forklift this way. How about we try it like this? I'm 16, 15 years old. Like, why not? And then fast forward, I get the opportunity to be in electronics. I'm like, I like electronics. I build computers, and then I start to see what customers are coming in the store for. I learned Wacom, Toshiba, Sylvania TVs, Sylvania light bulbs. It was very immersive. It was an 8-hour shift. And every time I went to work, I learned something new. I learned, setting up bait and tackle, how to sell it. You know, I was over the sporting goods counter, assisting with firearms, BB guns, and all that other stuff like that. And it was an amazing opportunity. And it's weird how I'm now 34, and there's this kid who's pretty much older than me, who's like the same age as my manager. I could probably tell this kid is like maybe like 26, 25. And I asked him a pretty well-known brand, and he doesn't know. And yeah, I literally just did a rant about some 26-year-old kid who's probably like that age or a little younger, who doesn't know what a Wacom tablet is. And quite frankly, no over exaggeration, it was behind him the whole time. It's hilarious. You can't make this stuff up. Oh man, I don't want to like bore y'all. This is what, 20 minutes? Okay. Let's talk business. Back to the ghost, back to art. So I bought a Wacom tablet and I started drawing, and I had one before. I had a really good one. It was a Intios. I remember it had Bluetooth. It had like a bunch of buttons. It was a medium size. So it was like a really thick pad. It was great. And then I had one of these Adonit. I still have one. I have an Adonit stylus. I think I got it for like $100 back in the day, like throwback. It still works. It's like a stylus with like a transparent disc, and it enables you to draw on your iPhone, so you could draw with apps and stuff. And it's pretty dope. But I stopped using it like years ago. Like this is like 2011, 2012, and it's been a while. So I sold my drawing tablet and I bought a new one today, and I started using it, and I'm really, really, really excited about drawing again. And but most importantly, animating. Like I really want to start animating and doing that, because I used to animate, sort of, kind of animate stuff, and it was really fun. And now you have so much cool features like lip syncing in animation. Like you have rigging. Rigging is when you have a character and their arms move. You can like move it like with the mouse. It's like a stick figure, and you can just like control the joints for each frame. So instead of you drawing the arm moving up and down, the arm is like on a wire, and you can like control it. It's amazing. It's a lifesaver. So that's what I'm pretty much doing right now, is confronting like my old self and seeing where I am now. And I really want to start drawing again. I feel good. Well, while I'm drawing, I feel like at peace. I just want to see if I can make it past my mental block of like, hey, this is worthless or this is pointless. But yeah, but let's talk about my studio space, my last two videos, where I know that's like a major shift, but let's talk about my studio space. I have two videos out that I made about my studio, and what was that one called? My podcast production setup. So that one is doing really good. This is like one of my favorite videos so far. It's at 2,000 views, and it's not really the views that I'm really happy about. It's more so the engagement. So I have a couple of questions here, and let's see, can I pull them up? So the I got a bunch of comments in YouTube now. I didn't even know this. you can look for comments that are questions and it'll populate them for you. So I'm pretty sure I have a couple more questions, but these are the ones that YouTube said, hey, you have a couple of questions here. So the first one is from Black Swan Financial. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Oh, that's not what he said. I'm just saying that. He says, Gil, thanks for the nuggets you dropped. I dropped nuggets. You never want to waste chicken nuggets. Guys, I promise that was not me. All right, let's continue. Gil, thanks for the nuggets you dropped. I'm using an auto pole / ferry pole as well, but vertically mounted. How do you mount it horizontally in a safe manner so that no clients are injured? Great question. I did answer him. Let me see. Can I read my reply? Of course I can't read my reply. That's weird. But I'm going to answer it live right here. So I have a auto pole or very pole, however you want to call it. This one is from Manfrotto. And my door, it's over my doorway. And my doorway has a massive crown molding. And then the other one is over a window. And the window has like a ultra massive crown molding. So it doesn't sit on it. It's still perfectly tight against the wall. But in case anything were to happen, in case it were to fail or fall down, the crown molding will catch it on both sides. The window crown molding is a little bit higher than the doorway, but it still sits on it perfectly. So I don't have to worry about it ever coming down. That's what I would do. Just see if you could find a crown molding, or if you can find a stud. Like, I don't know, depending on what you want to do. Like, you could like drill a stud or drill like a bar or something and drill into like a wall stud, so you know you have a secure anchor, and have it placed directly under the varipole. Depending on how you want to put it. Like, I'm kind of blessed with my room that it just works perfectly for me. I don't have any issues at all with it. All right, let's get to the next question. We have Benjamin Masatis. I don't want to. I'm pretty much butchering the name, and I have a name that people butcher all the time. So it's Revenge of the butchering names. All right. So Benjamin says, awesome video. I have a similar setup. I'm wondering if you have thoughts between the A10 Mini and the A10 Extreme. There is a big price difference for this type of setup. Why would you choose one over the other? So I'm gonna reread that because I was looking at something else and I'm like, wait, what's going on there? So awesome video. I have a similar setup. I'm wondering if you have thoughts between the A10 Mini and the A10 Extreme. There is a big price difference for this type of setup. Why would you choose one over the other? So I have the regular A10 Mini and I have an A10 Mini Extreme ISO. The A10 Mini is just a 4 HDMI input device with one HDMI out and one USB-C video out. Now, the A10 Mini that I have, it does not have ISO recording. It's just one program view. So if I have a camera, if I have 4 cameras and I have, let's say, 2 podcast guests, each of them has, a camera. So I have one camera on guest 1, another camera on guest 2, and I'll have like a wide shot. And then the other camera, I would say it's a rolling shot. Like it probably like slides between, guest 1 and guest 2. If for some reason guest 1 is talking, but then I accidentally press the camera for guest 2 and I'm using the A10 Mini, that cut, let's say if I'm using a recording device, that cut is baked in. You can't undo it. You can't reset it. You can't. Unless you have the A10 Mini ISO, A10 Mini Pro ISO. And that one is, let's see, A10 Mini Pro. The A10 Mini Pro is, no, let me get the Pro ISO. The A10 Mini Pro ISO is $495. That's the one where you have 4 HDMI and you can have isolated recordings. So for $495, if you make a mistake, you can run it back because you're recording all camera angles. I don't know if that makes sense. So the regular A10 Mini is $295. Whatever you hit, that's where the camera is going to go switch to. But if you have the A10 Mini Pro ISO, you're recording all 4 camera angles at the same time. I don't have the A10 Mini Pro ISO, I have the A10 Mini. But the other A10 Mini that I own, because like I said, I own 2, I have the A10 Mini, A10 Extreme, A10 Mini Extreme ISO, A10 Mini Extreme ISO. That one has 8 HDMI inputs, 2 HDMI out, and 2 USB-C out. So I could connect a SSD to record every camera angle, every microphone, every audio source that goes into the A10 Mini Extreme ISO and have a perfectly, folded out, that's a weird word, perfectly organized, a perfectly organized project. And I'm able to also have a program view so I could view all the camera angles, all the audio sources. So that way I know I'm recording. I know if camera 4 dies because it won't be on the screen anymore. I would know if there's no audio coming in because there will be no waveforms. It's 100% control. That's all it's about for me. Having control of your setup, having control of your production. That's the main key. There are a lot of other tools that you can use, but unlike most people, I'm a one-man band. Like I said before, I have to make sure that this works for me. I have to make sure that there is no failure because clients don't know, clients don't understand. They just think that, well, Gil can do it. Gil does it. I'll just hire Gil. They don't know what Gil has to do. They don't know what I'm thinking about. There are times where I'm like, I'm looking directly at a model or I'm looking directly at a client, or I'm looking past them. It's just that my gaze is like towards them and they're like, what's wrong with you? What did I do? Oh, I don't even see you. I'm just making sure. I'm just trying to like remember, did I hit record or did I do this or did I set this up? Did I plug this cable in correctly? My brain is like making sure that we have a perfect show, right? That's where my brain goes, while I'm producing and working on stuff. So why I picked the A10 Mini Extreme ISO, let me give y'all a price. It's $12.95. And that one is a little bit much, but you have the ability to connect up to 8 camera angles. With the A10 Mini, I believe the A10 Extreme Pro ISO, let me see. How much does that one have? A10 Mini Pro ISO. I think that one also has 2, let's see. So the A10 Mini Pro ISO has only 4 HDMI in and 1 HDMI out. And it's just an ISO. I use 2 monitors. I have one monitor for me. I have another monitor for my guest. I might even use that to connect a recorder like an Atomos Ninja Flame recorder. So more control. That's it. And it costs, but to me, it's worth it. I don't have to have this headache of, oh my gosh, I switched to the wrong I'll switch to the wrong camera, or I changed the camera angles too late or something, or I switched when I didn't have to. Like, nope. And also SD cards. I run out of storage space. I just don't want to run to one camera, put the SD card in, upload the video. Nope. The A10 Mini Extreme ISO has USB-C recording. Like you can connect a USB-C, USB-C. You can connect an SSD to the A10 Mini Extreme ISO and record the videos on there. Also, you can record onto that SSD, but you can also connect another USB-C to the back of the A10 Mini Extreme ISO because it has 2 USB-C ports. 2. It's It gives you more control. That's all I'm about. That's it. All right. Next question we have Safety Home Loan 950. What's your room size, sir? Also like to point out that the Rodecaster Pro 2 version includes much higher power, so you don't need to purchase those cloud lifters to feed the Shure mics. I don't use a cloud lifter. So when I read this initially, I was like, what are you talking about? I don't use a cloud lifter. I know that. All right. Let's continue with his question. I myself will stick to the younger brother, the Shure MV7, instead of using the Rodecaster Pro. I will be purchasing the new DJI mic too and just connect them straight into the mic. This also works with big Shure mics you're using. I guess the new DJI mic 2 having 32-bit flow, that's what he means. I guess the DJI mic 2 have this 32 something tech that provides all the power you need, even for those energy hungry mics. And plus, they basically become wireless, meaning you don't need to run long aux cables back to the back of your Rodecaster Pro. But the audio, not only gets set. I mean, I know. I know. Yeah, trust me. I know what you're talking about. I've been doing that for like forever. But yeah, I'm trying to understand. Well, as I was reading it, I'm like, but I don't use a cloud lifter. What are you talking about? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what did he mean? Because he commented this 8 days ago. And at the time of the comment, I'm like, I don't have a cloud lifter though. I don't use a cloud lifter because the Rodecaster Pro gives it enough power. I'm aware. There's this, I don't know. I really love and appreciate his comment, but sometimes there are people who come into the comment and they come to like teach, but it's like I know what I'm talking about. But the DJI mics too, I would not use them, to be honest. 32-bit float or what? It doesn't matter to me. I don't know. I just really like simplifying my setup and just keeping it simple with no variables. Having Tom Buck just actually filmed a great video about the issue with wireless microphones. And it's like, of course, on YouTube, for a very moment, you would see this. There's a guy who's doing a podcast. Oh, that's probably all he does. I've been doing a lot. I've shot weddings, documentaries, talking head videos for clients, brands, and I would shoot with this Rode wireless microphone. I bought the first one. So when the first one came out, I bought them immediately. I bought a set. I bought a black one and a white one. I think the black one was available. I think the white one became available much later. And I bought the white one and I did a wedding. I would shoot weddings. I'll shoot brides with it. Anybody that had a white outfit, I would just film them and I would connect my Rode Wireless Go, the first one, and find a way using an adapter to attach it to a Rodecaster Pro 1. And then, did I have the Rode? Yeah, I'll attach it to the back of a Rodecaster Pro 1 just to get wireless audio. And then I would use the Rode Pod mics to, I'll turn them, not the Rode Pod mic. It was what was that one called? No, I have it right in front of me. It's the Rode Video Mic NTG. It's a shotgun microphone, USB powered, and you can adjust the volume with a knob in the back. It has a mic input. I would basically connect a Rode Wireless Go 1 to the Video Mic NTG and have a wireless boom. And it's great. It's a great solution to a problem of not having long cables. You know, I've shot at locations where, you know, you have to have insurance and you get the insurance and then the venue will say no long cables. Even if you have insurance, they just don't like the tacky look of it. And that's when I would use a Rode Wireless Go to set up wireless microphones. I have like I said, the Video Mic NTG, and I also use the Taxscar SG598. Let's see if I remember that correctly. Taxstar, Taxstar SGC 598. Did I say that? I don't know. I'm not going to give myself credit, but I believe I said it right. I've had that microphone since like 2013 and it still rocks. I got it on eBay. It's like $30 and it is amazing. And I would use that for a wireless microphone. It's great. I shot 3 short films with this $30 microphone. It's fantastic. The size of my room, I don't even freaking know. It's not the biggest room, to be honest with you. I really wanted it to be bigger. Hey. Yeah, I really wanted the room to be a lot bigger, to be a lot larger, a little bit longer, and more depth. That way I could get more depth in my shot. But I'm kind of satisfied with what I got. I pretty much used the room effectively, to the best of my ability. I make sure that I get the right tools, the lenses, the good lighting, to the point where it looks comfortable in here. All right. So that's that question. The next one is from Musta. Oh, also Safety Home Loan 950. I don't mean, hopefully, I didn't offend you at all. I really appreciate the comment, but I'm literally, as I'm recording this podcast, skimming through the video to see, what do you mean I use a cloud lifter? But I think I know what you mean. I have an extension on my microphone. So the extension makes my microphone look taller. And that's how most cloud lifters are. They look like it's like a Fed head. It looks like a Fed head, but it's not a Fed head. It's just an extension to make my microphone stand up taller. But hey, I really appreciate the comment, the likes, and the view. Keep them coming. All right, we have Musta Fearton 752. Where link did you get the wood back panels? I got them from Home Depot. They're just reclaimed wood, really, really, really cheap wood. It's not the best wood, but it's the wood that I used. So would you like to use the wood that I use? Let me know. I wouldn't suggest it. I've done way more. I've done a couple more projects, a couple more walls like this for clients, and got better quality wood and gave you a better job, because these are most of them were bent. They were a little too short. I was trying to, really just excited and experimenting, and I had already kind of just like started working on some, and then I noticed, hey, the woods are kind of like bent, and I'm like, oh, it's too late. Or maybe I just assumed that it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I still don't think it is, but just if you're going to be doing it and you don't like things to be imperfect, I say get the expensive one. The ones that I did for a client, they were really, really good. They just thought they were really kind of expensive, because you got to get a lot. You got to get more than you need, because sometimes you might cut them too short, might cut them too long. Well, you can't cut them too long. You might cut it too short, and or not measure correctly, or they might just break or look bad or ugly. So you get more than you need, and the price kind of goes up. But let's go to all the comments here. We got Elle. She's like, great video, Gil. I like how everything is versatile. That's my goal for anything. Like, I have a Tacoma truck, a black truck, and I bought something called a Aroma Venture case. It's a 83-liter case that fits onto the back of my truck bed, and I have that sitting on something called a Billy Bar rack. And these are some American truck-made accessories for trucks that help you do overlanding. That's the initial goal. Like, they allow you to pretty much do outdoor venturing in your truck. So you could put like stuff in there, shoes, shovels, and things. I have a molly panel, which is mostly used to like hold firearms, axes. I have it holding a C stand, a C stand and a leg. I have a swing case. People would put, you know, stuff in there. I just put like batteries, V mount batteries and things. I like to make sure that when my wife needs my truck, it doesn't smell like a photography studio or podcast studio. I don't have like microphone arms in the back seat. No, they're tightly, neatly and protected, sealed and locked on a roof case. And they're not there all the time. Like if I'm shooting, yeah, they'll probably be in there and I'll take them out while I'm shooting. But when I'm not shooting, yeah, they're gone. They're not in there. And if I need to take my wife somewhere or my mother-in-law or a friend or family or my mom or my dad, they get inside my truck and you would never know that there's like equipment in there. Like, so everything that I have, I like to make sure that it's versatile. My room with my toolbox, everything. All right, let's go to Kage Beast 954. Good stuff. I plan to eventually buy every ever. He said ever, but he meant every recommendation in this video. Don't. Yeah, it's really expensive. And also this works for me. I'm a shill for Apple. I'm an Apple shill. So I have a MacBook, I have an iMac. I I don't know. I'm an Apple shill. So I got some, and I have like Sony stuff. I got Nikon. Like, don't buy the stuff that I have. Make it work for you. Like, think about your workflow. Think about the things that you like. What do you connect with? I think you like Sorry Canon, right? Like the Sorry Canon cameras. All right, I'm just joking. I think you're a Canon guy. So try to see like, what do you like? What do you connect with? Like somebody was saying a while ago, you should paint your studio like this. You should add this. And I'm like, I don't do that. Oh, you should get like a barista machine and have it in the background. I don't drink coffee like that. Like, what? No, I'm not doing that. Oh, you should have this and you should do this. You should put art. Somebody sent me some YouTuber. He had like a lot of rustic stuff. It wasn't Peter McKinnon. That's the GOAT. But some YouTuber had like a lot of anime posters and, figurines and a case, like a glass case with stuff. You should do this. No, no, I'm good. I want to walk into my space and, feel comfortable, tear it down if I want to, or move things around, or I like to, I don't know, make your space your space. We have Captain Hooked. He says 691 subscribers. You should have 100K plus amazing content, practical, useful content. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, heart emoji. That really means a lot. I try to, when you try your best and you don't succeed. Sorry, I gotta listen to that Coldplay song later. I try to do the best that I can. It's gonna sound weird, but I kind of feel like I'm taking YouTube seriously now. It's weird. Like my last video, I actually put thought in it. I shot the my studio space video like a couple of times. Like I really, really wanted it to be good in my podcast production space. Like that video, I really wanted it to be good. So I shot it and I, planned it well. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. But thank you for that comment. And I hope that if I do get to 100K, you're here to see it. I really hope that you're here to see it because I'm not saying that that's the goal. I'm just doing what I like. And I noticed that this is the first time where in a month where I gained 100 subscribers in a month, which is to me, that's a lot, you know, but we'll see how it goes, throughout the year. We have Zeke Diligence says, great showcase and helpful vid. Thanks. I know the space may be a little snug, but a walk around tour would have been the icing on the cake. So I answered Zeke's question here. I actually replied, that was 9 days ago. I said, thanks for the idea. I have a video coming up with a super wide camera. And then I tagged the video. All right. So we have the next question or comment from the Cake Queen, Tanya. Your setup is dope. Everything is so neat and efficient for daily use. I actually use my space, and thank you for the comment. A lot of people don't use their space. They just have it as a decoration. This space is a tool, and sometimes it gets moved around. It gets thrown around. It's great. I love it here. Like it's right now, it's 5 a.m. and I'm charging some cameras and lights because I have a shoot at like 1 p.m. So, all right. Next comment we have from Aiden HD7. Awesome. Thank you. We have MWP The Prophet. Good stuff. Thank you. And we have Dirty Red. What is that, number 4? They said, awesome video. It's cool to see the behind the scenes. And I want to do more of that. Form God from Good V. I can't even read that. Solid setup. I love it. We have Barack Rocky Gills hand emoji. Yeah. I think I got all the comments on that video. I think the other video got some really good comments too. The studio tour. Know Your Joe 8826. He says, great studio space combined with top-notch equipment choices. What is there not to like? You have put a lot of thought into getting the most efficient use of that space. So well done. I really like the modded overhead camera setup as well. I really like the tasteful use of blue with the accent tan color. I laughed when I saw Tom in the background. He is great too, and rather fond of the color blue as well. Looking forward to what is coming up next. Thank you, Joe. I love this comment so much because this is actually a subscriber who consumes my content, when I put it out, and it's always in the comment section. It's not like I'm asking, oh, if you watch my stuff, comment. But, he always leaves thoughtful and like detailed, long comments that it took time to write. And this is going to take me time to digest it and actually come up with a reply. And it feels good to be heard and seen, not that saying that, oh, yeah, look at me, I'm important. No, it's just, this is somebody that, took time out their day to consume something that I made, see it, enjoy it, and then like write something thoughtful. I'm not saying leave essays. Please don't. If you don't feel compelled to, if you don't want to write a 10-paragraph essay, don't do that, please. All right. We have Raphael Bello TV. Love how you have taken advantage of the space and made it awesome, cozy, and super productive. Keep rocking, brother. Thank you. That really means a lot. I'm trying. I'm killing it. Killing it now. We got to go. And we have Raphael Ludwig, the guy, the myth, the legend. I learned a lot of stuff from Final Cut Pro from Raphael. Admittedly, it was something that I don't remember the name of the video. It's a shortcut key that I literally use every single day for podcast reduction. And that shortcut key is Option Lift. Like you would pick your video on the timeline that you want to duplicate. And when you hit Option and you lift up on the mouse, there will be a direct copy of the video that you selected. It'll be on top of the old one. And I use it all the time. I use it, quite frankly, all of the time. So Raphael, thank you for that. Thank you for continuously being a guiding light for me for for Final Cut Pro. You don't know what you do, man. Like you're killing it with the AI stuff. Time Bolt I use to just create content, make things like what Raphael does for me is that I know what he is capable of. Not capable of. That sounds like, I don't know. Yeah, I know what he's capable of. I know what he's done. He's done like movies and TV productions. Like he's the guy. So if I see him using a tool, or if I see him like doing something a specific way, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's been doing like industry standard things for eons. So if he recommends XYZ, it's because he's saving time, because he's a family man. He's a businessman. So it would make sense for me to try it, not completely convert all the way, because like I told Kage the Beast, not everything should work for you. It really depends on your workflow. But I highly respect Raphael. So when he refers something, I'm like, okay, let me take a look at this. All right, let's read his comment. Nice auto pulls. Those are the best. The wave arm on the side of the Husky is a great idea. Thank you. That came, I mean, a lot of people somebody asked me like, oh, like, did you like know you were going to do that? I'm like, honestly, no. I just didn't want an overhead camera rig over my stuff. And then when I looked at the the bolt, or what do you call that? The socket that's on the side of the workbench, I saw that I can just, screw in a bolt. So I drilled the holes on the wave arm. Well, y'all know if you don't know, and it worked, and it fit, and it's perfect, and I have no issues at all with it. So, but thank you for that comment, Raphael. We have Mr. DeQuise. Thanks for the inspiration. That's the goal. That's all I want to do. We have Jared Spink. What a great setup. Thanks, man. Jared's also one of these legendary YouTubers. I always appreciate hearing from him. We text, send messages, check in and whatnot. We share ideas. Like Jared helped me out with a lot of podcast production stuff. He helps me out with a lot of production stuff too. Pricing. The thing is, the content creator world is so large, but it's also kind of like small and lonely sometimes. So it's also always good to like, learn, or, hit up a creator friend, and, they will teach you a thing or two. And it's like, it's great. So Jared was one of those guys. I think it was like early on, he had me on his podcast. Like, I was like, what? You want me on your podcast? Me? What? I'm like, what did I do? I don't do anything. And he had me on his podcast, and it was great. So I always appreciate hearing from him. We have Leandra. Says very creative creator space. Thank you. Ella is a friend of mine, also a creator. She has a podcast called, wow, I'm blanking out now. I almost said her live stream, the Melanated Council. She has a podcast called The Agreeable Gray Area, but she also every other Tuesday. So this Tuesday they're not on, but the following Tuesday they will be. It's called the Melanated Council. It's a live stream on YouTube. They talk about various topics, politics, religion, relationships, and it's a great hang. So definitely check it out. I'm always there if I can make it. I'll be in the chat. And yeah, we got Willie here. Finally a tour, right? It's been I think I had to use the right tool. Creator friend of mine named Kamal, he had, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he did just suggest it to me. Yeah, I think he just randomly hit me up, and he's like, yo, I got the camera if you want to use it. I'm like, what? Sure. And he, luckily, he's one of those great creator people that just wants to see other creators, create. So he lent me the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which has like a super wide camera. It's portable. He lent it to me, and I was able to do what I did with the studio space. And it literally helped with the tour. Yeah. We have Cake Queen Tanya says, dope space. Thank you. I'm trying to keep it nice and clean and perfect. We have Random Tech. Podcast area is fire. Yeah, those blue chairs are Christian Knight. They don't make them anymore. There were 400 a piece. And I remember when I saw those chairs, I said, I want those chairs and I'm getting them. My wife was like, they're $400. I'm like, yeah. She's like, they're 400 for one chair. I'm like, yeah. And I'm getting them. And I got them. And she's like, I can't believe you just spent, I can't believe you just spent $800 on some chairs. I was like, just come upstairs. She came upstairs and she's like, oh my God. Oh my God. They look amazing. They complete your room. I'm like, I know. And she sat down on the chair and they were super comfortable. And that's the end of that. Random Tech has another comment, and it's the last comment. About the keyboard, I agree. I love the ability to switch from one PC to another with one click. Same thing with the mouse, but it's a bit annoying since you have to flip it. Oh, I didn't understand what he meant at first, but now I get it. Now that I'm saying it out loud. Solid setup, solid video. Thank you. So I use an MX Master keyboard and you can connect up to 3 computers. So you hit a switch, you switch to camera, you switch to camera, you switch to computer 1, and you switch to computer blue, computer computer 2, and then you switch to computer 3. With the MX mouse, you have to lift the mouse up and like press a button. It's not that annoying, but it's annoying. I see what he means. All right, y'all, we have come to the end of the podcast. Thank y'all for listening. I really hope that this episode was great for y'all. I hope y'all learned a lot. Hope y'all were able to take something out of it. At least, before I go, I want to shout out Simply Textured. I hope I'm saying that right. That's a dope name, by the way. Simply Textured said on Twitter, I don't know what it is. Something about the homie Shin Gil, makes my non-creative self want to be creative. I that's a I really appreciate that comment, that tweet, and I retweeted it because that was dope. Because there's sometimes I feel like I'm not creative enough, and my whole goal, in the 7th grade was to, like, when my teacher asked me, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" I was like, "I want to inspire everybody. I want to create. I want my art to inspire people and change the world." And I'm currently doing that. So 7th grade Gil, you stayed back. You were mocked and told you were a fool. But there's this guy on the internet named with a Twitter name Simply Textured. He took the time to reply to you and said that you inspired him to create. Fucking Gil, dude. You fucking did it, dude. The ghost of Gil. You aren't dead, buddy. You are inspiring people. You're creating dope things and you're spreading positivity. There are plenty of times where people will try to sway you to do, things for them. And you did it. Those are just like experience points to just help you get better at the thing that you really ultimately want to do. And look at that. Somebody literally, look all the comments that people left on my YouTube channel. Like, I'm doing the thing that I've always wanted to do ever since I was a kid. Inspire people and spread positivity in the world. And I'm doing it. So right now I'm just kind of focused on finding a balance. Like, I love doing client work. I like getting paid. And I know we were about to wrap up here, but Simply Texture just reminded me and I wanted to get this message out. Like, I really feel like there has to be some type of balance between, the business and then doing YouTube. And, theoretically, YouTube can eventually become the business, but that's not necessarily the goal. So they told me to say, I got to say that. But honestly, YouTube is not the goal. I'm actually scared of having YouTube like be the main bread and butter. Yo, bread and butter is not that great. Like, people say, "Oh, that's the bread and butter." That's like a poor meal. Like, what about that's the steak? That's the bee's knees. Do bees have knees, by the way? All right, we're getting distracted. I honestly want to make sure that I stay authentic to myself. Like, I know somebody was like, oh, you sounded tired on the last podcast. I was like, I did say it's 5 a.m. Why do you feel like you had to do the podcast at 5 a.m.? Well, when I have this gnawing creative idea, I don't want to wait till, well, wake up later and do it. No, I want to do it now. So that's that. And the Gil from 7th grade waited, what year was that? That was like 2001. So Gil from 2001, I can't do math, don't worry. I'm doing the math right now. And it's 2024. Gil waited whoa, that's insane. 23 is like one of my weird numbers. Like that's just like a creepy number to me. It's like an evil number. Young middle school Gil waited 23 years for this. You know, we gotta continue on. But all right, y'all, hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Again, if you did, share it with a friend, comment. I'm gonna put this up on YouTube. I think it goes automatically with the RSS feed. I'm gonna leave it up there for a while and see how it does. You know, will people listen? Will people comment and engage? I want to also let y'all know about my photography word search book. It's going to be in the podcast description, and also my Patreon. I actually started posting stuff on there. It's actually really fun. Like any random, workflow idea that I have, I'll just share it on there. Y'all could get in there as a community feature. Y'all can comment, like stuff, and it's pretty dope. So everything that I want to talk about as far as like sharing and reaching out to me, it's in the description down below for this podcast. Hope y'all enjoy this episode, and I'll see y'all or, talk to y'all in the next one. Peace.